uh, NEP orientation and sensitization program. I hope I am loud and clear. Hello. Yes. I hope I am loud and clear. Any one of you just confirm?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. And as Ankit has rightly pointed out, that we'll be having a session today with regard to how we can integrate ICT, and in particular, since ICT is nowadays it is predominated by AI. Okay, so we'll just try to have a look at that is how AI tool can help us in our day-to-day life as a teacher and as an educator, right? So with this line, let me start my presentation. Okay, so what we'll have, we'll in the first session, we'll just try to build some theoretical foundation wherein we'll just try to understand what this technology is all about. So irrespective of your discipline, whether you are from, I can say the mechanical, civil, or architecture or pharma, right? This technology is touching almost everybody's life. And by some way or the other, we are using it. Many times knowingly, many times unknowingly. Okay. So today we'll just try to have a look at this technology in a little bit greater detail, and we'll just try to understand how it is. As a matter of fact, it is impacting our day-to-day activity as a teacher, right? So let me begin my deliberation with my PowerPoint presentation. So allow me to share my presentation first of all. So I'll be sharing my entire screen. And as a matter of fact, we'll be having two different session. Okay, in between, let's say if you desire, we may have a break for 5 to 10 minutes, or otherwise, if you allow me, I may continue for continuous 3 hours. So having said this, this is what is there on the agenda. Okay, that is, we'll just try to have a look at what is, you can say, the AI tools, okay, or the ICT tools for education and research. Okay, as far as this session, the first session is concerned, we will start with what this technology is all about. That is, what is AI, okay, and what are intelligent system, okay, and how it is related with, you can say, the tech sector and so on. So we'll just try to understand many important fundamental aspects. So those who are from computer science, they may find it a little bit fundamental, but again, I hope that it will be a building block as far as this session is concerned. So wherein we will just try to explore what are the constituents of soft computing, what is deep learning, what are DL architecture, and one important concept which is nowadays gaining prime importance, that is what is black box problem in AI. Okay, so many times we feel that, and based on that point, we'll just try to understand that is how this black box problem is one of the biggest problem as far as this technology is concerned. Now there are solutions to it as well. Okay, so we'll have a dig at that particular aspect as well, wherein we'll just try to understand what this black box problem in AI is all about, and what are the consequences of this black box problem in AI. And at the end, we will definitely sum up with the solution. Okay, because merely discussing problem is not all, right? So what is the solution? And the solution is nothing but the glass box, or what they call it as the explainable AI. And based on these technologies, okay, we'll just try to understand what are the various tools. Okay, what are the various tools, and if time permits, we will have some hands-on on some of these tools, right? So this is there on the agenda, and definitely I would love to interact with you. It should not be a monologue. Okay, if you interrupt me any at any point of time in between, again, you are welcome. Okay, and I hope all of you have got that right to, you can say, unmute yourself. Okay, so you can stop me at any point of time. We may have some deliberation. Okay, so whenever something new come up, there are definitely certain pros and cons associated with the technology, and AI is not an exception in with that regard. So definitely this technology has got some pros and some cons. Okay, and we need to use this technology, as a matter of fact, with lot of care. Okay, particularly when you are using it for teaching and research. So you need to take utmost care with regard to the ethical consideration and so on. So having said this, let me begin my deliberation with what this AI is all about. So before I begin, let's say if some of you would like to comment or come up with your own perception about this technology, what is your perception about AI? Okay. And this is just because to get you involved in the discussion. Okay. There is no other reason to pose this question to you. So any one of you, let's say, irrespective of your discipline, what is your perception about this technology or AI in general? So what is AI? Definitely those who are from computer science, okay, they will find it little bit very fundamental, but still we will try to digest these concepts, okay, presuming that you do not have any background as far as this technology is concerned, right? So what is your take on this? What is AI? What is your perception about AI? Any one of you? I hope you people are with me. I hope you people are with me. Definitely I will elaborate, okay. There's no doubt about it. But if some of you have got, there are around 40 odd participants in the meeting, and I am happy to see such a big number. Okay, but if you look at the registration count, it is again not more than 50%. It is still around 40-45%. Anyway, so having said this, what is your take on AI? What is AI? Nobody? All right. So let me begin my deliberation with a basic understanding of this technology. So AI is nothing but the study of mechanism that think and act like humans. Or to put it in a layman's language, it is simply any technique which enables computer to mimic human behavior. Now, what is so special about human behavior, right? So we have got at one end, we have got human intelligence, and at the other end, we have got the artificial intelligence. So in what way they are related with each other, and how we can incorporate intelligence into a machine, more specifically into a computer, that is nothing but the AI, right? Now, having said this, if you look at the human intelligence, there are certain peculiar characteristics associated with us, right? So being a human being, we are capable of doing lot many things. Can you elaborate on that in any one of you? Hello. Okay. So it seems that you have decided that you will not respond to any of my query. It doesn't matter. Anyway, again, repeatedly, I am telling you that is asking these questions is not to check your knowledge, is to simply get you involved in the discussion. And if you look at the implementation policy of this NEP 2020 is, as a matter of fact, it is expected that uh, maybe the 40-45 minutes deliberation from the speaker, and maybe 40-45 minutes you can say brainstorming on the same topic, because again the adaptation of this technology is a $1 billion question. Okay, I very well remember I started my career way back in 1990. So we were not exposed to these things, but what is happening right now, uh, now even if you are not using it, your students are using it. So definitely, being a teacher, we have to have a upper hand when it comes to teaching, education, and research, right? So anyway, having said this, if you look at the human intelligence, we have got the God Almighty has given us certain peculiar, you can say the characteristics which makes us, you can say the most important living organism on the earth, right? So if you look at the human intelligence, we are capable of, you can say, interpreting the information. We are capable of comprehending the phenomena or object. And last but not the least, once we are trained in a particular domain, we are capable of taking decision based on our, you can say, the intelligence and so on. So these decision making capabilities, comprehension capabilities, and interpretation capabilities makes us intelligent, right? So having said this, if you simply look at any, you can say the system which you wish to call it as a intelligent system, it must possess these four characteristics, these four peculiar characteristics. Now what are they? The very first one is, by default, is the intelligence itself. That is, system must perform meaningful operation. Okay. system must perform some meaningful operation. It is capable of interpreting information, as I said earlier, and it must be able to comprehend the relation between the phenomena or object. Okay, what does this mean? Let's say if I give you the relationship between X and Y, okay, and Y and Z, then as a human being, you can very well deduce the relationship between X and Z. Okay, so on the similar line, whether these machines, if they are capable of comprehending the relation, then you can very well claim that they are intelligence. And last but not the least, when they are trained in a particular domain, okay, what they are capable of, they are capable of applying the acquired information to some new condition. Let me give one simple analogy. Let's say whenever you want to learn anything, let's say for the sake of example, if you want to learn how to drive a car, so what happens normally, the training is imparted to you on very ideal condition, maybe on a highway or maybe on playground, but you will never ever face that kind of scenario all the time, right? So let's say if you have learned that is how to drive a car, and when you face altogether different scenario, you are in a downtown kind of a situation wherein there is a huge traffic, then what do you do? Whether you call your trainer or you take decision on your own. So normally we take our decision on our own, meaning thereby we are capable of applying that knowledge which we have acquired during the learning or the training phase to some new condition. So on the similar line, these intelligent systems, they are capable of applying that knowledge or that information, whatever they have acquired during the training or learning phase, to some new condition. Now, having said this, if any system has got these four peculiar characteristics present in them, you may categorize it as an intelligent system. Okay. Now, having said this, if you look at the evolution of this technology, okay, or computer science in general, okay, you will find that there are two approaches of solving any problem. The very first approach is what they call it as the mathematical modeling, wherein I will elaborate later on this aspect. That is the black boxes. Okay, that is black box is something wherein you never know. You provide some input, and whatever is happening inside the box, that is not you can say known to you, and then you get the some output, some or the other output. So how you arrive at that output, that is not many times known to you, right? That is many times it is not known to you. So how to solve it, that is again we'll just study. Even the developer, right, whosoever has developed that system, they are not in a position to come up with a justification, that is how they arrive at this particular thing. Okay, there are answers to it, again there are solutions to it, that is what we'll see in the explainable AI and so on. Okay, but having said this, we need to understand that is there are two approaches. One is the mathematical, and the second one is the rule-based systems. So, what is the problem with rule-based system? Let's say if you have developed a, you can say the medical diagnostic system for a homeopath practitioner. Okay, and what do we do in that case? Normally, we fed all the symptoms and in the form of rule to that particular expert system. And whenever you give some or the other symptoms, what it will do, it will try to identify or rather classify the disease the patient is suffering from. But let's say if you give something new, say for example, in case of COVID-19 scenario, okay, things were altogether different. So it may come up, it may come up with the answer that no match found. Okay, so there were issues with regard to these traditional approaches. So what has happened, that AI or the soft computing approach has addressed all these issues. Right? It has addressed all these issues. Now, to be very specific, let's say if you look at these two approaches of solving, you can say any computing problem. So we have at one end what they call it as the hard computing approach, and on the right hand side we have got an approach what they call it as the soft computing approach. Now, how they are different, that is what we'll just try to understand. In case of hard computing, we have a precise model. Say, for example, A is equal to something and B is equal to something. So we have exact values of the variable. And what do? We manipulate those variables and then arrive at a particular solution. So we have exact or precise values of the variable involved in the problem under consideration. Whereas in case of soft computing, we use what they call it as the approximate model. Okay, I'll elaborate on this aspect. And it is very closer to your real life decision making process. And what do we do in case of soft computing or AI based approach? We use approximate reasoning. Okay, we will not search the entire search space. Rather, we will search a very localized search space and we will take a decision based on that. Okay, that decision may be right or wrong. Again, it is subject to right or wrong. But we take some or the other, and that is very true when you take a decision in your real life scenario as well, right? So what do we do in case of this approximate model? We do not have exact value, we do not have precise value, rather we have approximate values, and we take our decision based on approximation, right? And what kind of functions which are typically used in this case? We use functional approximation and randomized search. As I said, we will not search the entire database. We will search a specified or a localized kind of a search space and we'll arrive at a particular decision. Now that decision, as I said, may be right or wrong. Let me give you one simple analogy which will make your idea clear with regard to this approximate modeling or approximate decision making. Hey, let's say you are on a highway and there is a long vehicle in front of you and you want to overtake that vehicle. So what do you do? How you will take this decision whether it is the right time to overtake or not? Okay, whether you will get down from the car, you will measure the exact amount of space available to you and then you push the accelerator, or you will take decision based on approximation, right? So most of the time we take decision based on approximation. We will never ever, otherwise if you try the other way around, okay, people will say that this fellow has gone mad, right? So we take our decision based on approximation, and that decision is again subject to right or wrong, as I said. That is, it may be possible that when you push the accelerator and try to overtake that car, the other vehicle is coming from the opposite side, and then in that case, what you need to do, you need to apply brake, again take your vehicle in the back of the vehicle which is in front of you, and again wait for some time and then go for take another attempt. Okay, so this is, or let's say if everything is fine, you draw your car and you will overtake the car which you wanted to overtake, or the vehicle which is just in front of you. So our decision making is all the time, human decision making I am referring to, it is all the time based on approximation. We do not have exact knowledge. Okay, take another example. Let's say you are in a mall and you want to park your car. Okay, so again parking your car, that decision again it will be based on approximation. It may happen that you will hit a column which is just in front of you, right? So it is based on you, because you will not ever get down and you will not never ever measure the exact amount of space and then you will push the accelerator, right? So our decision making is all the time based on approximation, right? And that is why we use in soft computing or AI based approach, we use the approximate model, approximate reasoning, and so on. Now, having said this, I hope all of you will agree that the soft computing approach is very similar to, you can say, the real life decision making process, okay, in a day to day environment. Right? Having said this, we will just try to elaborate further. Okay, earlier we have seen a very layman's definition of AI or soft computing. Now we'll go a little bit further and we'll just try to understand what this technology is all about and in what way it is different from the traditional approaches. So if you look at the very first statement on the slide, you will be surprised to know that it is the symbiotic use of many engineering problem solving discipline emerging. You name the area, I tell you, you will find that the application of soft computing or AI is there, right? Now, how it has been defined? How it has been defined by none other than Professor Zadeh, who is referred to as the father of soft computing. Look at the very first word, what he says about this soft computing or AI-based approach. It is in contrast to traditional hard computing, meaning thereby it is a paradigm shift. It is a 360-degree shift. What we used to do earlier in case of mathematical modeling, or you can say the hard computing. So it is completely in contrast to traditional hard computing. Soft computing exploits the tolerance for imprecision, meaning thereby we are dealing with imprecise knowledge. Okay, imprecision, uncertainty, and partial truth. What does this mean? Right, we'll just try to analyze each and every word. Imprecise knowledge, meaning thereby we do not have exact knowledge, we do not have precise knowledge. Okay, as in case of hard computing, we have exact values. Say pi is equal to 3.1417, whatever, right, up to 6 decimal places, we know, right? But in this case, we do not have exact values, we do not have precise values, and we are dealing with uncertainties. Whenever I said that you are taking decision, okay, that decision is subject to uncertainty, right? The decision may be right or wrong. And the third important dimension of this definition is it is the partial truth. What does this mean? Nothing in the word is true or false. Okay, whereas if you look at the traditional approach, we live in the world of what they call it as either something is true or something is false. That is either 0 or 1, right? But what is there in case of this AI technology is it is not 100% true or 100% false, meaning thereby all these variables, they will acquire values between 0 and 1. Okay, 0 and 1 inclusive. Okay, definitely. Okay, but values between 0 and 1, and that is what is the meaning of partial truth. Maybe 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.3, depending upon the scenario, right? But everything is not 100% true or 100% false, as it was the case with the traditional computing, right? Now, these are the three major differences which makes this technology applicable to all the problem domain, right? And what is the advantage of having this kind of approach is to achieve a solution which is tractable, robust, low cost, and better report with reality. I'll give you some simple example which will make that whatever is being claimed in this particular definition, whether it is correct or not. You simply look around, probably almost all of you are at home. Okay, simply look around in your home itself. You will find that there are devices which the manufacturers claim that they are intelligent. Say, for example, the washing machine installed in your home, or maybe the microwave oven, or the air conditioner installed in your home. All of them, some way or the other, they are using this technology. Okay, say for example, okay, in case of fully automatic washing machine, if you just try to recall, most of the time it has been written that it uses a fuzzy controller or fuzzy logic or an intelligent machine. Okay, in what way it is intelligent, right? One small microcontroller chip, okay, wherein you embed, let's say you are dealing with 3 or 4 parameters, so based on that you will devise some 27 or 18 rules, and those 18 rules are coded into that small microcontroller chip, costing not more than $1,000. Okay, and you automate any process. Okay, similarly, if you look at the air conditioner, again the same scenario, or maybe the microwave oven, right? So that is why we are claiming that whatever the solution we are designing, they are tractable, they are robust, they are low cost, and they are better report with reality. That is, if you look at the washing mechanism of, you can say, any washing machine, what do we do as a human being? Okay, again, we apply the same type of approach. Okay, you simply look at the type of clothes. Okay, and then you decide whether how much hot water or cold water is to be mixed, and then what is the amount of detergent that is to be mixed, and which kind of, you can say, the washing mechanism should be applied, whether it should be soft wash or hard wash, and so on. So based on that, you have some, you may design certain rules, you may embed those rules into a microcontroller and put that microcontroller in action, okay, which will take control of all the components installed in a washing machine, and it will automate that job, right? So having said this, it is a paradigm shift, it is a 360-degree shift, it is completely in contrast to traditional hard computing. Okay, wherein we have precise model, wherein we have got, you can say, exact values, but in this case we do not have that kind of a scenario. We have imprecise value, uncertainty, and partial truth. Okay, so that's why this technology, soft computing or AI, okay, soft computing is a umbrella term. Okay, AI is definitely uh, is a part and parcel. So you may put a slash between soft computing and AI, right? So it is not at all different, right? It uses the same thing, right? Anyway, having said this, what are the objectives of this soft computing? Is to mimic the human linguistic reasoning, right? What are the components? There are 4 components. Okay, we'll not go into the details of each and every one of them, but since you are using this technology, you should know that is how it is, what is there in the background, right? Front end, you may be using some or the other tool, but the back end, all these algorithms and all these mechanisms, they are working, they are in place. Okay, so there are four constituents of soft computing. One is the fuzzy system, second is the neural networks, third is the evolutionary computing, and the fourth one is the probabilistic reasoning. Each one of them, they are good in some or the other area. Okay, say for example, fuzzy systems are best when you are dealing with uncertainty. Okay, so sorry, imprecise knowledge. Okay, fuzzy systems are good when you are dealing with imprecise knowledge. Okay, neural networks has got that capability to learn. Okay, so learning capabilities which are normally associated with human being. Okay, if you want to make any machine intelligent, okay, you need to train it. Okay, what do we do when you give some voice command to your machine for the very first time? You give some samples. Okay, once it recognizes those accent and so on, second time onwards it will go on obeying your commands, right? So learning capabilities. Then probabilistic reasoning is the uncertainty. Whenever you are dealing with uncertainty, you have lot of things under this umbrella, that is probabilistic reasoning. And the fourth one is the evolutionary computing, wherein we have genetic algorithm, optimization, and so on, and colony optimization, and so on. Right. So each one of them, they are good in some or the other area. Now, it all depends what kind of problem you are dealing with. You may have a hybrid combination of these, any of these two or three, depending upon your requirement. Okay. Say, for example, you may require the learning capabilities as well as the fuzzy approach. Okay. So then you may have a neuro fuzzy kind of a systems. Okay. That is again possible. So hybrid systems are again possible, but they are good in certain areas. Each one of them, they are good in some specific areas. Okay. So because if you look at the definition, wherein I have tossed all these terminologies, that is imprecision, uncertainty, and so on. Right. So not all are having that capability. Okay, some of them, they are good in some certain area, but you may have a combination, as I said, right? So these are the four building blocks of any AI based approach or any soft computing approach, right? Fuzzy neural networks, probabilistic reasoning, and evolutionary computing. Having said this, we'll just try to understand, is it possible to you can say compute with words? So computing with word is possible or not? What is your take on this? Let's say whenever we talk about computing, okay, we talk about we are dealing with numbers. Okay, what if, let's say, if I ask you that I'll give you some English like statement, and if I ask you to compute something, so is it possible to compute with words? Okay, uh, I don't know how many of you are from computer science, but probably 7 to 8 participants, I expect that minimum are from computer science. So definitely they will be able to respond to this query. But what is it? What is your take in general? Forget about the your discipline and so on. But what do you feel? Whether it is possible to compute with words? Computing with words was simply impossible before the birth of this technology. Okay, okay, that is before the evolution of AI or soft computing approach, it was simply impossible to deal with words, rather compute with words, to be very specific. Okay, but this technology has opened that particular door. Okay, we'll just try to understand this with the help of a pretty simple example. Okay, the example is I'm giving you one simple question. Okay, we want to compute Rekha's age. Rekha is the lady under consideration. What is Rekha's age? With regard to the lady, I am providing you some information, that is, she has a son. That is, proposition P1 is she has a son in mid 20s, and proposition P2 is she has a daughter in mid 30s. Okay, now, the third one is the word knowledge, which is known to almost, barring few exception, but that is a fact. Okay, that is a word knowledge which is known to all of us. That is usually mother's age at birth is between 20 or asterisk 20 for short, and approximately 40 or asterisk 40 for short. Having said this, is it possible to compute Rekha's age with this much information? And if yes, how? Now, this is common for even computer science people as well, right? They may attempt it. Hello. I hope you people are with me. See, this is completely. I'll at the end of the session. Okay, I'll just try to connect the dot. Okay, so that you will realize that we have not crossed our dimensions. Okay, as a matter of fact, we are trying to integrate this in education and research. Okay, so there are a lot of tools, but what is the technology? What kind of technology works behind all those tools? That is what we are trying to understand. Right. So what is Rekha's age? Any one of you, whether you can take some attempt. Okay, I'll take a pause for a minute. Is it possible, first of all? The answer is yes or no. If yes, what about Rekha's age? I hope all of you are with me. Let me check how many of you are with me at this point of time. There are around 48 participants. Okay, good number. Okay, machines with human intelligence. Okay, so probably whenever I was asking some questions, okay, the answers were in the chat box. Okay, anyway, what about this particular question which I have posed just now? What about Rekha's age in this case? Shall I put that slide once again? Okay, yeah. So there we are, right? What I am asking here is I am providing you two statements. Rather, I am making two English-like statements about a lady called Rekha. Okay, that she has a son in mid-20s and she has a daughter in mid-30s. And third one is the word knowledge. My question is, what is Rekha's age under this? I'm not giving you any numbers. Okay, I am not giving you any numbers. What we are trying to understand is it possible to compute with words? How that is what we are doing, trying to understand. Nobody would like to take? Okay. Not an issue, right? We can very well sort it out. Okay. We can very well sort it out. We need to translate these English-like statement into what they call it as the computation ready word. And what is it exactly? And this process is called as the appreciation. Okay, this process is called as the appreciation. That is what we are doing. We are converting those English-like statement into numbers. Say, for example, the very first statement which I have made with regard to the lady called Rekha is she has a son in mid-20s. Now, this I can very well appreciate with a statement wherein age son is asterisk 25. And on the similar line, what about the second statement? Rekha has a daughter in mid-30s. So I can very well translate this or appreciate this as age daughter is asterisk 35. Because she has a son in mid-20s, that is 25, and she has a daughter in mid-30s, so that's why asterisk 35. And the third one is the word knowledge. What is it? The third statement, if you just try to look at, what is it? Is the word. Usually the mother's age at birth of child is between 20 or asterisk 20 for short and approximately 40 or asterisk 40 for short. So that can be done quite easily as plus P3 age mother at birth is usually asterisk 20 comma asterisk 40, meaning thereby between 20 and 40. Okay. Now what we can do, we can aggregate these three, P1 proposition, P1, P2 and P3, and we can very well determine Rekha's age. That is aggregation function, age Rekha is asterisk 25, usually asterisk 20, asterisk 40, fusion asterisk 35, usually asterisk 20, asterisk 40. So you can very well, again, I will not give you the exact answer. Okay, what is Rekha's age? Okay, I'll still keep it open for you to think over. Okay, so but you can very well compute. You can very well come up with Rekha's age, that Rekha's age is so and so at this point of time. Right. So it is possible to compute with words. And this was very first time it was tossed by none other than Professor Lutfi Alizadeh, right, who is referred to as the father of soft computing, right? So he has presented a paper based on this thematic idea that appreciation, that is computing with word, is possible, and wherein he elaborated on what is appreciation. What is appreciation? It is a meaning or prerequisite to a computation. Appreciation plays an essential role in computing with words. CW meaning thereby computation with words. Okay, and it plays no role in computational linguistics. Okay, so this is what is the crust of the story, what he has come up with. That is the appreciation. So appreciation is what, if you want to put it in mathematical form or in terms of some expression, it is the conversion of unappreciated raw proposition. That is, if you recall, P1, P2, P3, etc., to express in a natural language in a computation ready proposition, and usually it is denoted by P star. So P1 with P1 star, P2 with P2 star, and P3 with P3 star, something like that. So what is appreciation? It may be viewed as a computational model of P. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to convert that language, English language like statement into a computation ready word. Now, since we are arriving at numbers, now I can very well manipulate that numbers, and we can compute that age of the lady under consideration, that is Rekha. Okay. So you can come up with the answer that her age is 55. Okay, to be very specific. Okay, so what is appreciation? It is nothing but the modelization. It is nothing but the modelization. So we are appreciating, meaning thereby we are modelizing. So if this way you can model any real world problem, you can very well sort it out with the help of this soft computing approach. Right now, having said this, this has opened a large number of, you can say, the areas wherein you can find out certain problems, okay, rather solutions to certain problem which are in the natural languages. What they call it as the natural language processing. That is one complete area of computer science. Okay, so natural language based systems, they use this, rather they exploit this small concept, okay, to solve any NLP problem, right? So having said this, certain decision analysis, okay, again, that is possible with the help of this NLP capabilities of this soft computing approach and so on. The best example is the chatbot. Okay, nowadays, earlier what we used to have for the service industry, we used to have call centers, and these call centers are usually in our country. Okay, just because of we have a cheap labor, I should say. Okay, and that's why the even though the companies were there in the US or the Western world or the developed nation, okay, their call centers happens to be in our country, right? Particularly in India, Bangalore, and all these metros, they were uh, flooded with all those types of call centers. But what has happened? This technology, this AI, okay, has given birth to what they call it as the chatbot. Okay, so these chatbots are typically the all the queries which were raised by the customers, 90% of them, rather 99% of them, these chatbots are capable of handling. Okay, so whenever you visit any website, okay, you will find some or the other chatbot, okay, which will appear and will ask you in what way I will help you. May I help you, right? Okay, so what is it? It is in the back end. It is using this question answering system. It is using this technology as well, right? So 90% of the queries you can very well resolve with the help of this chatbots, right? Chatbots. That is a question answering systems and search engines, right? The another thing which we have seen is the neural networks, right? Now I'll not go into the details of all those things because that will take a lot more time, okay, because our idea is to learn certain tool as well, okay, which uses this technology. So what is machine learning, or you can say that this is again not at all new. Actually, if you look at the historical perspective of this entire technology, it is not at all new. It was way back in 1959, wherein Arthur Summel has defined this machine learning, which gives the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. So in traditional programming approach, what do? We write down each and every statement. But in this case, the beauty is we do not explicitly program. Okay. But these neural networks or these machine learning algorithms, they are capable of learning. So we have a set of algorithms which follow some program instruction and can also make predictions or decision based on the data. Now, how do they learn? Okay, that is again we need to understand. Okay, so typically they are used a model, okay, for some sample input. So we provide input and we provide the output, input output. That is what they call it as the supervised learning, which will come in discussion in the slides to come. Okay, but what is neural network? So if you look at the neural network, it is a circuit composed of a very large number of simple processing elements that are neurally based. Okay, so we have lot many things under this head. I'll not elaborate much on these aspects, but what is the beauty of this neural networks? They are capable of learning. So they have got that learning capabilities. Okay, they have got that learning capabilities. Hopefully my slides are visible to you. Hello? Whether my slides are visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Whether the slides are visible to you?
Yes, sir, your slides are clearly visible.
Okay, okay, chaliye, thank you. What I thought, because I'm not in a position to see what is happening. Okay. Many times it happens, but after some time, the participant used to complain, sir, you are still on slide number 1. That's why I'm asking, right? There is no reason to inquire. So, how do they learn? They acquire, they have got the capability to acquire, store, and utilize experiential knowledge. Okay, I'm talking about the neural networks. Okay, so knowledge acquisition or the data acquisition, okay, storing that knowledge, where do they store? They store these things in the weights associated with them, right? So there is a weight matrix, there is an input, okay, and then weight, and then what do they do? Once these weights are normalized, meaning thereby they have learned that particular concept. Once they have learned, they are capable of applying that knowledge, whatever they have acquired during the learning phase, to some new condition. Okay, that is the beauty of it, and that is why we claim that they are intelligent. Okay, they are capable of learning and so on. Right. So neural networks are about all those things. Now, if you look at the application areas, these are the areas, or you name. Again, this is an indicative list. Okay, there are, you just name the area, you will find that this technology or these neural networks are there. Okay, maybe it is linguistic, philosophy, cognitive psychology, neurobiology, physics. Okay, computer science and AI. Okay, and this is it touches almost all these spheres of your life. Okay, touches all. Now, how it is evolved, how this technology has evolved, how these neural networks are evolved. Okay, we'll have a cursory look. Will not waste a lot of time in understanding this. Okay, so you have this is a biological neuron wherein you have dendrites, you have a cell body, and then axons. These axons are connected to next neuron, okay, and so on. And this way, there are thousands of billions of neurons in our human brain. On the similar line, we have got an artificial neuron, wherein these inputs are there, that is X1 and X2, as I said. Okay, and with each input, there is a weight associated. That is W1, which is typically denoted by W. Okay, W1, W2, and so on. And this is the Y. Y is the output. Okay, so Y is equal to summation of X1 W1 plus X2 W2 and so on. And whatever is the output of this neuron, it is given as input to the next neuron and so on. And it works very similar to the human brain and so on. Right. But this is the simplest unit. This is one single unit. Okay. This way there are thousands of units. And they are organized in such a way that makes it a bit difficult. That's why I said it is a black box kind of a thing. You never know what is happening inside that box. Okay, that we will touch upon. Okay, so what is for time being, we need to understand that is artificial neural networks. They are capable of information processing system. Neuron processes the information. Okay, signals are transmitted by means of connection link. These links I am talking about, right? This is the connection link. Okay, or in case of biological neuron, this is the link. Okay, this is the link. All right. So then the links possess an associated weight. So each link there is a weight associated. Okay, and the output signal is obtained by applying activation to the net input. Okay, we do have a non-linearity, what they call it as the activation function. Okay, so to put it in very simple term, these are the inputs x0, x1 up to xn. Then these are the weight associated with those input. There is a summation kind of a thing, that is x0 into w0, then x1 into w1 up to xn into wn, summation. Okay, I is equal to whatever. Okay, 1 to n. And there is a bias, and this is the non-linearity or the activation function. Now, again, there are numerous possibilities when it comes to this activation function, but the best activation function is the sigmoidal one. Okay, sigma. I will not go into the details of all those aspects because our objective is not to, we want to understand that is how this technology has evolved, and in what way all those tools they are using this technology, right? Now, whenever we call it as a training purpose, okay, what happens is these weights are updated, okay, because the inputs are constant. Your outputs is again is the area wherein you want to map it. So you have only one scope wherein you can modify the values of these weights, okay. And what is the objective? This is called as the per sample updating, that is updating weights and biases after presentation of each sample. Per training set updating, that is, this is called as the one epoch, okay, that is transition from this input to the output is called as the one iteration or one epoch. Okay, the other way around, you may call it as one epoch. Okay, so it is per training set updating epoch or iteration. Weights and bias increments could be accumulated in variables, and the weights and biases updated after all the samples of the training sets have been presented. So this way, what we'll do, we'll present, let's say we have got around 10,000 records. So one by one, we'll present all those 10,000 records, okay, and we'll train. Okay, and during the training phase, what will happen? All these weights will be normalized. Now, once it has been trained, now you give some new input to this particular neural network. Okay, it will categorize it. Okay, it will never ever say that it is not found in my database. Right? It will take some or the other decision. That decision may be right or wrong. Okay, that classification or the prediction, it is again subject to right or wrong, just like human decisions are subject to right or wrong. But it will take some or the other decision, right? So this process is called as the training. Okay. Now, what are the building blocks of ANN? Is the network architecture, how they are connected with each other. Okay, connection between neurons, setting the weights, that is training, and the activation function. These are the three building blocks of any ANN, that is artificial neural network. Right. Now, if you look at these diagrams, how they are connected, that topology will determine the type of the network. So this is a single layer feed forward network. This is a multi-layer wherein you have got more than one layer. Hidden layers are again there. Okay. Now again, how many hidden layer you must have? Okay. How many neurons in each hidden layer you must have? There is no hard-coded rule. It is based on trial and error, right? So you go on increasing, and then you wherever you feel that you find the optimum number of you can say the hidden layer. Okay. At that point of time, you need to stop. Now you may say, sir, how to carry out this? Okay, now there are thousands of tools available, right? So you need to simply in the activation function as well. Okay, in the drop down list, you can pick any appropriate activation function, and you can very well map it into the desired network. So how these networks, how these neurons are connected, that will determine the type of that particular. So this is fully recurrent network, this is competitive network, Jordan network, and sample recurrent networks, and so on. Right. Now, having said this, layer properties, again, for input layer, they are typically, it receives the initial data. Hidden layer, not directly observable. Okay, you will not be able to see it, how many hidden layers are there and how many neurons in each hidden layer are there. That is again, okay, is a topic of discussion. That is why it is referred to as black box. And output layer, it produces the final result. Okay, it produces the final results. Okay, encodes possible values. Let's say you are dealing with handwritten neural kind of a scenario, then 0 to 9 numbers will be the output layers, right? So any one of them will go high, and that will be categorized at that particular later will be categorized at 1, 2, 3, or 4, whatever is the best, right? Okay, so output layer, again, you have, it produces the final results. Having said this, these are the three terminologies, technologies, or rather the processes which are typically used. Supervised training, again, will not go into the details, wherein you provide a labeled data set, that is input as well as output is known to you. Okay, you know, for this input, this is the output, this input, this is the output. So in that case, we use what they call it as the supervised training. Unsupervised training, you know the input, but unlabeled data, output is not known. Okay, so in that case, unsupervised training and reinforcement training, which is extensively used by all these LLM models, chat GPT and so on. Okay, it uses learning through trial and error. It is very similar to a small kid is trying to walk for the very first time, right? So definitely he or she will, okay. So learning through trial and error, okay, to achieve a specific goal, that is reinforcement training. So reinforcement training is basically used in almost all the large language models, right? All LLM models, right? Again, there are a few more advancement to that reinforcement as well, okay. But these are the three important training approaches, okay, supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement training. Now, there are some deep learning architectures. Here onwards, I'll go a little fast, okay, because we do not have time. Okay, but this DL architecture, it has evolved just from 2006 onwards. Okay, why they are referred to as deep learning? Because the structure is so complex. Okay, and so you can say black box kind of a thing. Okay, because these DL architectures are very complicated in their own nature, right? So now they may use unsupervised feature learning or analysis for classification and so on, right? So again, there are representation learning, higher level and lower level learnings and so on. Okay, we'll not go into the details of those things. Okay, but we need to know that what these DL architectures, they are categorized into three important categories. Now here onwards, we'll move to what they call it as the generative AI and so on. So the very first category is the generative deep architecture. Okay, whatever tools you have, okay, DeepSeek or maybe what you call it as the chat GPT. Okay, they use this generative deep architectures, right? They use this generative. The second is the discriminative deep architecture, and the third one is the hybrid deep architecture, wherein they use a combination of these two, right? So these are intended to characterize the high order visible data. Okay, typically generative deep architectures. Okay, and typically it uses a base rule, okay, which can turn this type of architecture into a discriminative one. So you may transform them back and forth. That is again possible by playing with them, right? So generative deep architecture, then the discriminative deep architecture. So these are intended to directly provide discriminative power for pattern classification. Okay, that is why the name discriminative architecture. And the third one is a hybrid deep architecture, where the goal is discrimination, but it uses generative, right? So that way, these three categories are there. Okay, and based on this, we have got numerous tools. Okay, now probably I think I've told you that we will touch upon one important aspect of this AI is what they call it as the black box problem. Okay, all these tools, whatever we are going to discuss, right, or rather whatever I will demonstrate, right, they suffer from this particular problem. That is what they call it as the black box problem. What is it? It refers to a AI system, especially DL architecture, deep learning models, whose internal decision making process is hidden or too complex for human to understand. As I said, that is you provide the input, okay, whatever is happening within the, you can say the box, that is not known to you, and it gives you some or the other output. Now, if somebody asks you or to the developer, whosoever has developed this particular tool, that you just try to conclude that how you arrive at this particular decision, they themselves will not be in a position to come up with some or the other justification. And that is what is the black box problem is. And that is why it is referred to as black box problem in AI. So while these systems deliver predictions or decision, okay, they lack transparency, okay, making it difficult to explain how specific outcomes are reached. Okay, so what does this mean? Whatever is happening within that box is not known to you. Okay, what do? You give some query, you fire some, you can say some specific question to this tool. How it is arriving at a particular answer, that is again not known to you, and that phenomena is referred to as what they call it as the black box problem with AI. Okay. Say, for example, a medical AI suggests treatment, but doctors cannot see the exact reasoning. Okay. So it is suggesting some treatment, but you never know that how it is taking that decision. Or maybe a hiring algorithm rejects a candidate, but the company doesn't know which factors influence that decision. Okay, or this happens because many AI models, intense learning neural networks are highly complex. Why it is so? As I said, their structure is complex, their learning capabilities are complex, and the parameters you are dealing with, again, they are thousands, okay, which makes it difficult to justify how you arrive at a particular decision. So with thousands or millions of parameters, okay, so their inner decision making process isn't easily interpretable by humans. Okay, because there are around say 1,000 parameter. How you are manipulating those parameter and how you are arriving at a particular decision, that is bit difficult to explain or justify. Okay, So what is black box? Input to AI system, there is a black box, okay, and what is it? You get some or the output, okay, maybe decision or prediction, okay. Let's say you are dealing with a, you can say the share market price prediction of a particular script. Okay. So what you are doing, you are giving maybe last 10 years data as an input to the system. Okay. What it is doing, it is manipulating that data, and it is after some time, it is coming up with some predicted value. Okay. But how it is predicting that value, you will not be in a position to justify. So that's why it is called as a black box problem. So we see what goes in and what comes out. Okay, but not what happens inside or how we arrive at a particular decision. Okay, so that is what is the black box problem is all about. Okay. Now, if you look at the, you can say the black box problem in AI, it has existed for decades. Okay, but it mostly operated in background without drawing much public attention, and that is why we complain many times, right? We complain that whatever outputs we are getting, they are not appropriate, or they are not as per your expectation, and so on. Okay. So it has changed with the rise of generative AI models. Now here is the glitch, right? Chat GPT and all. Okay, Google's Bard, or if you look at the Microsoft Bing Chat, any of these tools, okay, you will find that this is again applicable to them as well. So these generative AI tools are built on LLMs, that is the large language model, okay, which is a branch of machine learning. Okay. So they can produce highly advanced and human-like responses. Say, for example, you can ask any Gen AI tool to write one complete research paper for you. It will do it for you. See, ethically, it is not correct. Okay, one should not use it, but it has got that potential, right? So, but how it is arriving at a, again, there are problems with that paper as well, right? When you put it in some black check, okay, it will identify that this has been generated by some or the other Gen AI tool. Okay, so this lack of transparency is what makes AI as a black box technology. Okay. So how we will rely on this, right? Up to what extent you should rely on this kind of tools? That is again a $1 billion question. One has to think twice before using these technology or these tools, right? Now, what are the consequences of this black box approach? Okay, lack of accountability, the very first one. When flaw exists in the training data set, they are hidden inside the black box. Now, it may happen that whatever data set you are providing for the input, that itself is having certain flaws. Okay, definitely, which will lead to some impact in terms of learning, okay, or the training, and which will result in some altogether different result. Okay, so for example, if a machine is learning model rejects person's loan application, the individual has no way of knowing why. Okay, if you are dealing with a human kind of a entity, definitely he or she will come up, well, sir, I am not giving you this loan because these are the reasons. Okay. Whereas in this case, but the banks are using it. Okay. So without transparency, they cannot correct or challenge the decision. Right? That is the, you can say, the most important, you can rather most crucial aspect of this black box approach in AI, right? Unpredictability. Okay, they are inherently difficult to interpret and fix when they produce unwanted result. Again, this is possible. Okay, unpredictable. Okay, unpredictable. Right? Human being, again, you may say up to some extent there are people, okay, who claims themselves that they are the best administrator in the world. Okay, and if you ask them, they will come up with the simple answer that I am always unpredictable. Person who is with me 24 by 7, he will never know that what I will do in the next minute. Right? I may fire him or I may, right? So unpredictability, that is again one of the, you can say, the reason for this accountability, unpredictability. And let's say if you are using it for some military purposes, again, it may lead to some very dangerous scenarios, right? Which is again very risky. Okay. So high stake risk in military use, that is another problem, another consequence of this black box approach. Okay. So the core issue is that the black box AI makes it nearly impossible to fully trust or regulate the decision being made, especially when they affect human lives. Just like the military example I have given you. Okay, instead of firing that missile on the enemy's target, it may hit some somewhere else, okay, and which may lead to some very dangerous scenarios, right? So which is not tolerable, right? Which is not tolerable, but we are relying, okay, we are relying on these tools, okay, for all those purposes. Okay. Now, having said this, at the end, definitely I will talk about that is what is the solution to this black box problem, right? But before that, we need to understand what is Gen AI. Okay, so generative AI, now we have seen what we have started with AI, then we have seen what is soft computing, what is machine learning, what are the constituents of soft computing. Now we will just try to look at what is Gen AI. Okay, so Gen AI, to be very specific, it is a subset of AI, okay, which utilizes machine learning models. Okay, now don't ask me what is machine learning models, because we all of us know what this machine learning is all about, right? To create, now this is the these are the possibilities with this Gen AI tool, and that is why it is vulnerable. Okay, create new original content such as images, text, or music. Now look at the capabilities. Creating new original content. Okay, I'm talking about innovation, creativity, which is typically associated with human being. Now that is being challenged by all these Gen AI tools. Okay, so they are capable of creating new original content such as images, maybe text, or composing music, okay, based on the patterns and structures learned from existing data. Let's say you train a Gen AI tool for Shakespeare's poetry, okay, and you will ask that particular tool to write on the similar line by giving some another thematic area, it will come up because it has understood that is in what way Shakespeare used to write, right? So they are very fast when it comes to learning and adapting that approach, right? So even let's say if you train these tools, for example, right now what do we do on social media? Okay, we write comments or we write our post. So each individual has got some or the other way of writing these posts. Now these posts can be created automatically, right? By using these AI tools, Gen AI tools. That is again possible. You can create agents which will respond to your somebody else comment. Okay, so you need not be there, but you know in what way you used to interact most of the time. So it will learn and it will accordingly respond to even the post which has been posted by various potential customers, right? So it has got that capability. Okay, it has got that capability, and that is where the problem is. That is where the problem is. Now, most of these tools, whatever we are going to look at, they are not available free of cost. Okay, they are they comes with some subscription fee, right? The beta version of them is completely free, okay, but with some limited functionality. But let's say if you want to go, or rather if you want to use a pro version, definitely you have to pay for it. Okay, and the reason behind that is the training cost of all these tools is very high. It is tremendous. Okay, it is tremendous. Say for example, this is the data, okay, which has been gathered from the Stanford University 2024 AI Index, which says that GPT-3, the cost of training is 4.3 million. Okay, Gemini Ultra is 191.4 million dollar US dollar and so on, right? And so on, right? Now, what are the key characteristics? Sorry, I need to. So AI versus generative AI. I'm sorry for that. Sorry for the interruption. AI versus Gen AI. Again, we'll take a very fast look at all these aspects. Okay. Generative model has got the creativity and innovation capabilities, as I said earlier as well. Right. Then what is the scope? Okay. It includes a wide range of tools for content creation, drug discovery, game design, simulation. Again, this is an indicative list. Text to image generation, DALI, and so on. Right. So there are thousands of tools. Right. What are the key characteristics of these LLM? Okay, all these large language models we need to understand. So most of the time we make a complaint that we are not getting tailored responses, we are not getting appropriate responses. What is the reason for that? You have not understood their basic functioning. Okay, and directly we what do? We fire a query, right? We write a prompt, okay, and we expect it to give some appropriate answer. So we need to understand how do they work, what are their key characteristics. So some of the key characteristics of LLMs are, the very first one is text understanding. So LLMs are capable of understanding natural language. This LLM I am referring to, meaning thereby not any specific LLM like say ChatGPT may apply to DeepSeek or any one of them. Right? There are thousands of models. Again, we'll have a look at that is how to compare the responses of all these models, how to decide which particular model is the best one, and so on. Okay, I'll show you all those aspects in the uh, probably next 1.5 hours. Right. So the very first thing is text understanding. LLM understand natural language through advanced algorithms that process words, sentence, and text. Okay. They are capable of processing words. Okay. Then the sentences are comprised of words and the context, not only words and sentence, but the context in which the prompt has been written. Okay. Now this is typically the way in which we respond to any question which has been asked by somebody to us, maybe in the examination hall or in the general one-to-one interaction. Okay. What do? We look at the words, we look at the sentence, and then we look at the context in which the question has been asked. So those capabilities are inbuilt, inherently present in all these LLMs. Text generations, they can generate text, coherent, contextually relevant text based on input queries, okay, making them powerful tools for a wide range of applications. Okay, that is the another area which is one of the most astonishing characteristics of all these LLMs. They are capable of text generation. Second, the very first one is the text understanding. Second is the text generation. And how do they work? Okay, these two characteristics makes them fit for any damn job, I tell you, right? Any damn job, right? Now, how do LLM works? Okay, how do they work? They work in these 4 5 steps. We need to understand this. Okay, the very first step is what they call it as the tokenization. What does this mean? Tokenization meaning thereby the input text is broken down into smaller units or tokens. Okay. Say in one single statement, you have given around 15 odd words. What it will do, it will divide those 15 odd words into 15 tokens. Okay. Because understanding each word or token is very important, right? Because it is easier for the model to process. Okay. And then what it will do, the next thing, which if you just try to recall, and if you connect this dot with what we have seen with the help of, you can say, the dealing with, or rather computing with words. Okay. Now these tokens are converted into numerical vectors representing their meaning. Okay. They are converted. This is called as the embedding. Okay. Because ultimately, when it comes to computer, okay, you need to have what they call it as the numbers. Okay, so we need to convert those words into numerical vectors. And the third step is the self-attention. The model assesses which part of the text are more important for understanding the query. It is very similar to when you underline certain keywords when you try to attempt any question in the examination hall. Okay, because you know there is some value associated to that context. Okay, and accordingly you design, rather you tailor your response. Okay, whenever writing the answers. Okay, so the model assesses which part of the text are most important for understanding the query. This is self-attention. Then, having said this, there is one complete area of, now you may ask, sir, what is left in our hand? What is left in our hand is how to write an effective prompt. Okay, and there is one complete area which has emerged right now, is called as the prompt engineering. So what is it? It refers to the practice of crafting precise input to guide AI systems in generating accurate and relevant responses. Okay, that is what we can do. Again, we are not good at all those things because we never know that is how these systems, how they work. Okay, so effective prompt engineering is now becoming crucial in ensuring that the AI outputs are aligned with the user's expectation. And then what do? We complain that we are not getting the appropriate answer, we are not getting the relevant answer. Why it is so? Because we are not writing the effective prompt. Okay, if you write the effective prompt, then definitely you will get the appropriate answer, right? So you need to learn this as well. Okay, so there is one complete area, what they call it as the prompt engineering. We'll just try to understand in brief what are the various prompting techniques. Okay, so the very first prompt engineering technique is what they call it as the zero shot prompting. And whenever we interact as a layman, okay, most of the time whenever you are new to these kind of systems, okay, whatever the way in which you interact, okay, you interact with this zero shot prompting, wherein the AI is given task with no prior example. Okay, you will not give any prior example. You will directly ask the AI to come up with the relevant answer. So this model, it basically heavily relies on its pre-existing knowledge. Okay. So definitely in this case, you will get more generic responses. Okay. Because you are not giving the context in which you intend to search or you intend to tailor your answer. Right. So very generic sort of thing whenever you ask, okay, or very direct sort of thing wherein you don't provide any prior example. Okay, in this case, we do not provide any prior example. And that's why you get very generic response due to the lack of context. Okay. Then the second one is the one-shot prompting, wherein the AI is given a task with one example. Now, what I'll do, I want more tailored response. So I will give one simple example and I will ask the AI to respond to my prompt using that example. Okay, say for example, asking Gen AI to generate a trending headline with providing one sample may result in more relevant response, right? So here is a sample. Now do this. Okay. Say for example, I want to generate a tagline for a product. Okay. And I don't know how many of you are acquainted with. There was a tagline with this Honda two-wheeler vehicles. I very well remember. That is, fill it, forget it. Okay, so small 4 words, fill it, forget it. Okay, fill it, forget it, only 4 words. Okay, but it changes it was a game changer, I tell you, because that talks everything about that product, the mileage and whatnot, right? So fill it and forget it. On the similar line, if I ask the AI, use this example and come up with a tagline for a XYZ product, it will definitely come up with a tagline, not more than 4 to 5 words on the similar line. Now, here what I'm doing, I'm giving one example. Okay, one example. Okay, one shot prompting. That is why it is referred to as one shot prompting. Now, if you give more than one example, if you give more than one, meaning thereby either two or three, it is called as the few shot prompting. Okay. So in this case, you will get more tailored responses. Now I'm giving 2, 3 examples. Okay. So which will definitely makes the picture more clear. Right. So it will come up very appropriate or tailored responses in that case. Right. So that is few shot prompting. Then you have a role prompting, wherein I can assign Gen AI a specific role or a persona. Okay, I may ask him that assume you are a vice chancellor of a university, of a public university to be more specific. Okay, and now this is the scenario. Just tell me what is the right decision as far as this situation is concerned. Okay. So if you are a district superintendent of police, now you are facing some difficult situation, okay, law and order situation. Now what to do? You may take it, right? So you may assign a role or a persona to this GenAI tool so that it will give you more tailored responses, right? More tailored responses. That is called as the role prompting. Then the one more thing is there, what they call as the chain of thought prompting, wherein this technique basically involves breaking down a task into a smaller logical steps. That is what we do in computer science. Okay, we break down one large program into logical steps, allowing the AI to reason through intermediate steps before providing a final answer. It is useful for complex tasks. Okay, so you may adopt this approach as well. Okay, which is called as the chain of thought prompting, meta prompting, meaning thereby now, what I am doing, I am asking that Gen AI tool itself to write a prompt for me. Okay, that is again possible, right? So this is meta prompting. Gen AI is instructed on how to generate its own prompts for a specific task. Okay, but this is vulnerable, right? Because you are killing everything. Now you are relying for the prompt itself to be written by the Gen AI tool. Okay, but this is possible. So in this case, more expert level reasoning and sophisticated responses are needed. Okay, anybody cannot do it, but you need to have some expertise in writing that way. Then there is one more thing, what they call it, the tree of thought prompting. What is it? AI explores multiple possible reasoning paths simultaneously. Okay, evaluating different strategies before arriving at the best solution. It's very similar to, let's say, from this place, Amravati, I want to reach to your place, that is Yavatmal. Now I have got n number of ways to reach Yavatmal. Okay, what it will do, it will find out the best optimal path. It will evaluate all those 4, 5 paths. Okay, one is from via Karanja, the another one may be from via air or something else, and it will come up, well, this is the best possible. Evaluating different strategies before arriving at the best solution. Okay, so this allows greater flexibility and optimization in complex problem solving. That is tree of thought prompting. Okay, that is again possible. Okay, so these are the various prompt engineering techniques. Okay, last one is again there, what they call it is prompt chaining. Okay, which involves linking multiple prompts together in a sequence. That is, the output of one prompt is the input to the next one. Okay, cascading form, right? With each new prompt building on the output from the previous one. Now, this is useful for multi-step tasks or generating refined outputs over a time, right? So this is the probably the last technique, that is the prompt chaining, right? Apart from this, there are certain parameters which we need to set. Now, we are ignorant most of the time. We are ignorant about these parameters. But let's say if you want to use all these GenAI tools, okay, very effectively, you need to know that how to set these parameters. The very first parameter, what they refer to as, is the temperature. And usually the value of this temperature is between 0 to 2. Okay. Now you may set the value of this temperature by simply writing set temperature is equal to something like this. Okay. On the prompt itself. Okay. Or different tools has got different ways and means to handle this. In some of the tools, it is there on the right hand panel. Temperature is there. You simply drag and increase or decrease it depending upon your choices. Right. So if you keep it low, let's say a low temperature will generate more predictable responses. Okay. Let's say if you want to have more creative responses, you need to keep the value of this temperature on a higher side. Okay. Maybe more than 1. As I said, 0 to 1, 0 to 2. Then you can keep it 1.1, 1.5, 1.7. Okay. If you want more creative outputs. Okay. And that's why, let's say if the value of the temperature is 0.1, and if you are getting very predictable response, okay, you complain that you are not getting the appropriate response. But you never know that is how this temperature has been set, okay, and how to set it. So that is one important parameter, okay, which you need to set as a user. Second is the max token. What is it? It defines the length of the response. Now I may define the length not more than 100 words or 300 words, because if you look at the paid version of all these tools, it is basically many times the time frame, along with the time frame, some token sizes again there. Usually it is in terms of 512, 1024, and in multiples of that. Okay. So whenever you buy any subscription, it comes with some that token capability. If you use more token, definitely you will get better response. But let's say, as I said, it is paid. Okay, so you have to use it with little bit more caution, right? So it defines the length of the response. So you can restrict your response to n number of tokens. Okay, you may say reply to this query using not more than 10 tokens. Okay, or if you do not set this, okay, it may use more than 100 tokens. Okay, and later on you will be surprised that your tokens have expired now. Okay, so that's max token is another important parameter. Then top P is there, okay, which determines how many potential words the AI considers while generating the response. Okay, so that again you can set, that is top P. Okay, a lower value focuses the model on the most likely outcomes. Okay, obvious answer, what you used to call it as. Okay, top P. There is a frequency penalty and presence penalty. Okay, if you want to avoid redundancy in your responses rather in your answers, okay, you can set this frequency penalty and presence penalty. Okay, so these setting basically help control repetition in AI outputs, that is redundant output. Okay, So you can again get these things set as per your own need, and then you will get the better responses from all these Gen AI. Now, all these parameters, whatever I have talked about, they are applicable to almost all the Gen AI tool, whether it is ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Gemini AI or whatever, right? Now, having said this, we need to set these parameters. Okay. Now let's go little further. Okay, I'll wind up for the theoretical aspects. Uh, Probably, I think first session timing is almost over. Okay, now how to, we'll just try to connect the dot. Okay, how to use this Gen AI for research. As I said, you can very well use it, but one should not use it for the generation of ideas. Okay, because if you are doing so, if you are asking this Gen AI tool to write one complete article for you, okay, by giving some 2, 3 papers, okay, because now you know the prompting, right? That is how to write. You may give 2, 3 examples, and you may provide some PDF file and ask it to generate a paper based on that. It will do it for you, but that is not correct ethically. One should not use it, right? We should not use it for any creative activity or wherein we are making any ethical compromises. But you can use it for some other purposes. Okay, some other purposes. What are those purposes that we see? And that is the reason why almost all the publishing houses, they have come up their own guideline with regard to use of AI for research. Okay. Say, for example, if you look at this IEEE mandates, okay, they allow you to use it for only grammar and editing, editing purposes and grammar enhancement. Okay. So for that, definitely you can use it. So wherever you are submitting, you need to go through their guidelines, okay, which is normally there on their portal itself. That is up to what extent you can use this Gen AI tool, okay, for writing that research paper and so on. Right. Now, different publishers, as I've said, that they have got their own guidelines in this regard. Right. Now, these are some of the tools, that is Chat PDF, Chat GPT, okay, Consensus, Chat Sonic, Illicit. So Research Rabbit, all these tools we'll just try to have a look at, Skyspace, Q.com, okay, depending upon the time. Okay. But this way there are thousands. Now, how to even compare their responses, that we will see. Okay. How to rather execute all your queries on your local machine, all those tools again we'll just try to have a look at. But we will definitely just try to look at Illicit, probably the Consensus, okay, maybe Research Rabbit and so on. Right. Now, let me end up my discussion with the solution to that glass box problem, or what they call it as the explainable AI. Okay, so we have seen what black box problem is all about. The solution to that black box problem is what they call it as the glass box or explainable AI, or in short, it is referred to as XAI. Right. So the glass box model, uh, it is unlikely the black box systems. It reveal their algorithms, training data, and the decision making steps. Now everything is transparent in this case. Okay, making them far more transparent and accountable. Right. So that is what this glass box approach in a broader sense is all about. Okay, and it has given birth to one complete field of AI, what they call it as the explainable AI or HCI. Okay, wherein we are developing methods to help people understand how complex model works. Right. So this is explainable AI, right? So in this case, again, we have a set of tools. The very first one is what they call it as the line, which is local interpretable model agnostic explanation. LIME stands for local, L for local, I for interpretable, modeled agnostic explanation, right? The second one is the SHAP, okay? Shapely additive explanations, okay, are helping researchers and users how these AI system makes certain choices. Okay, that is how they arrive at that particular decision. What kind of you can say the approach they have used, what is the justification is behind that, okay, and so on. So these two tools are very popular in this case. What they call it as it uses glass box or the explainable AI techniques. Okay, so many assume that the higher accuracy requires greater complexity. That is again a myth. Okay, explainable machine learning challenge has proved that this is not correct all the time. It all depends. It varies from system to system and so on, right? So as AI-based solution permeate the way we live and do business, okay, questions on ethics, privacy, and security will also emerge. Okay, say for example, one of the issue with regard to in future you will find that there will be no place for all these Bollywood actors and actresses, right? So you may have some characters which are just the you can say the origin is all these AI tools. So who should get the royalty? And again, those issues are there. Okay, as on date, we do not have any concrete guidelines on those regards. So most discussion on ethical consideration of AI are derivation of there is a framework, what they call it as the FAT framework, that is fairness, accountability, and transparency. Right. So as far as you are using this AI tools for your research, if you are following this fairness, accountability, and transparency model or the FAT framework, okay, there is no problem going ahead while using these tools for some or the other research activity. Right. So having said this, this is where I'll take maybe a 5 minutes break if you allow me. Okay. Or before that, I'll take up your questions if there are any. हमने according to data given and with the help of logical thinking we can predict answer but not exact answer. Akanksha Shukla madam, I don't know in which context you have written this. So this is all about, you can say, the theoretical foundation. Second session definitely, as I told you, that we will have with regard to the demonstration of these tools. So my request is you please don't go away. I very well know that today is Sunday. I am killing your right Sunday. But there was no option because what has happened, we have planned this program for 7 days, and that's why we are having even 3 sessions. Okay, tomorrow again you will have one more session extra. Okay, the reason behind that is the duration. Okay, so I thank you all for patience hearing. Okay, so there are around 51 odd participants are there. So if there are any query, you can fire it now. I hope I am loud and clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Uh, sir, yes, sir. When we come across the term neural network,
Yes, sir.
yeah, sir, how the weight are going to be adjusted, sir? That diagram you have explained, sir, that X plus W is equal to Y.
How?
The weight are going to be adjusted. So how the weights are going to be adjusted, sir?
Weights are going to be adjusted, sir. In the first run, what do? We start with some random weight value. And any value between 0 and 1.
Okay,
All
sir.
right. And then we cycle through. Okay. And then we observe whether we are getting, in the first run, let's say you are getting the error as 0.9. Okay. And when
Okay.
you either decrease it or you increase it, and then you observe the result, whether you are getting 0.9 or 0.8. So if you are decreasing it, you are getting 0.8, then you go on decreasing it till you get the desired output. I hope you are getting me. Right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Our
Yes, sir.
idea is to minimize the error. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, sir.
So moment, now again, there are various phenomena, what they call it as the global minima and the local minima. Many times we are stuck up in the local minima. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
again, there are ways and means to handle this, but these weights are, you need to start with a random weight value, okay, and then go on increasing it, okay, and then observe the result. So it is trial and error, sir. It is trial and error, right?
Okay.
And in
Okay.
the next epoch, then you may conclude. I hope I have answered you.
Yes, yes. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay.
Anybody else? Shall we take a break for 5 minutes? Please don't go away.
Yes, sir.
I know
Definitely, sir. Yes, yes.
I
Sir,
know
not
I
an
am.
issue.
Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. Because I require a break for 5 minutes. You may take your
Oh,
tea. This is a tea
yes,
time.
sir.
Okay, I'll not be in a position to offer you tea, but you may take your tea.
Sir, sir, when we will visit SGBAU, then
Definitely,
definitely.
definitely. That is due on me. That is due on me. You
Yes,
are welcome at any point of time. Okay, sir.
yes, sir. Yes.
So
Okay.
within 4 to 5 minutes, we will again continue our session.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Well, welcome back. four, 4 to 5 people they have left. Anyway, shall we continue, sir? Hello.
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Okay. Whether my entire screen is visible to you at this point of time? The screen is visible to you, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes. Screen is visible.
Okay.
Sir,
So,
PowerPoint presentation is not visible.
no, right now I am not presenting anything.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'll be demonstrating some of these tools. You know?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
So we had a discussion in the very first session, wherein we have talked about the, you can say, the theoretical foundation of all these tools. So as I have told you earlier, that is all these tools, whatever we will be looking at the back end, they are using this technology, whatever we have discussed so far, right? Some way or the other. Okay, not exactly the same thing, but maybe a combination of these and something like that. Okay. Now here onwards, I'll be demonstrating you some of these tools. All right. So let me begin with the very first tool. Uh, let's say if you are using it, you please let me know. We will skip that tool and maybe we'll kickstart with something else. Right. So the very first tool is what they call it as is the notebook LM. Have you heard this tool? Okay. Notebook LM.
No, sir.
This is a product of Google, as a matter of fact, right? So for using all these tools, you do not require anything extra other than your Gmail ID. But my advice would be you don't use your regular Gmail ID for this purpose. You create. Uh, as a matter of fact, I am using my regular Gmail ID, but it is creating problem because, as I have told you, that the beta version of these tool is completely free. Okay, but the pro version is a paid version, so you may find certain commercial mail coming to your you can say inbox, okay, asking you to go for a subscription and so on. So if you want to avoid that, create a separate Gmail ID, okay, and start using these tools. Okay, as far as notebook LM is concerned, there's no problem. You can go ahead with your regular Gmail as well, because as I told you that this is a product of Google itself. Okay, and what is the URL? URL is, as you can see here, I hope my entire screen is visible to you. Anyone of you just confirm whether the entire screen is visible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So this notebooklm.google.com is the URL. Okay. If you ask me, you please provide these URL in the chat box, I can do so, but I don't think if you can note it down, okay, simultaneously, or you can, if you are at home or sitting on your laptop, okay, you may try hands on all these tools. So notebooklm.google.com, right? So as the name suggests, this is a product of Google itself, okay, and it is a very fantastic tool, I tell you. Okay, this tool you can use for learning something new as well, right? You as a teacher, you can use it. Your student can use it for learning anything new. Okay, so it has got lot many things available. Okay, so what you need to do is, if you simply log in, you using your Gmail ID and simply say notebooklm.google.com, something like this will appear on your screen. As you can see here, this is a create new button is there. Okay, so you can create a new notebook by simply clicking on this button, okay, or tab. Okay, moment you click on that tab, something like this will appear. Now here it is expected that you should provide the sources. Okay, you must provide the sources. Okay, so the sources may be any one of these. Okay, as you can see here, now there are various possibilities. Let's say if you have got some research paper which you have downloaded on your desktop, okay, you want to put it for learning purposes, you can choose that file. Okay, now what are the files supported? The file supported is PDF, text, okay, markdown, audio, mp3, docx, almost all, right? So you can choose any of these files, okay, if it is there on your desktop, and upload it. The other way around is you may use the Google Drive. Let's say something is there on your Google Drive, again, you can fetch it from this option, okay, or you may use some link directly. Let's say if some paper is there in the public domain. Now there are certain preconditions, okay, not all the papers are accessible. Okay, let's say you are fetching a research paper which is in the open access sort of a format, and it is publicly available, then you can directly paste that link. Okay, you can type that link, or you can copy and paste that link here, or you can embed a YouTube link. Let's say some YouTube video is there which is in some different language. Okay, that can be again fetched. I will show you that is how you can translate it into either Hindi or Marathi as well, right? So YouTube, okay, you may take one of the source as the YouTube stuff as well directly. Or let's say if you have copied something on your clipboard and you want to paste it, so that copy and paste option is again there. Okay, now for the sake of example, what we will do, we will pick up one file. Okay, one file, let's say my own file, brief profile. Okay, one page profile. Okay, I am putting it up for just for the experimentation purpose, and I am uploading it. So on the left hand side, as you can see, there are three panels here. The very first one is the sources, second is the chat, and the third one is the studio. Okay, so what has happened? Moment I have uploaded that file is now, it is uploaded in the sources panel. Okay, and it has appeared here in the chat. Now I can interact with this file. Okay, I can pose any query, okay, on this particular file. Since it is my own profile, okay, I don't have much scope here. But let's say if you are dealing with from paper, okay, you can fire any query with regard to that paper. So let's say this is the question I am asking. Said, what is the breadth of Dr. Atik's professional experience, institutional leadership role, and so on. Now it is analyzing that, and it is coming up with the appropriate answer, right? So this is the chat functionality. Apart from this chat, what else is there? You have got very many things here. Okay, so chat is there. Apart from chat, you have got a function called as the mind map. So you can create a mind map. Okay, on this right hand panel, which is a studio. Okay, which I was referring to, that is even I can convert this file into a audio or conversational audio. Okay, that is by simply clicking on this. Okay, but I'll not be in a position to demonstrate it right now because it takes a little bit more time, maybe 3 to 4 minutes for the entire compilation. But let us see. Many times it works faster as well. But so this is a audio. What it will do, it will translate this file into audio conversation between the interviewer and the interviewee in the form of a podcast. So that audio file can be easily downloaded. Okay, you can download that particular file. And the beauty of this is you can create an audio overview in Hindi, as I was referring to. Okay, maybe Bangla, Gujarati, these are the probably Indian languages supported right now, Marathi and so on, right? Even Marathi is there. So you can very well do that. You can very well do that, right? Then you can create a mind map. Okay, you can create a mind map. This is it is still generating this audio overview. Okay, generating this audio overview. Okay, then you can create a mind map, as I was referring to. Okay, you can even convert that file into a video overview. Okay, it will convert that text file into a video overview. That is again possible. You can generate a lot of reports. Okay, which is typically there, like say create your own, or maybe a briefing talk or a study guide. Okay, normally this is what we do whenever we want to learn something new. Okay, or a blog post. Okay, and so on. There are many. Okay, now it is being populated. It is being populated. Okay, so this is at present, at this point of time, this is completely free. Okay, this is completely free. Okay, so this is the beauty of this particular tool. This is Notebook LM. Okay, Notebook LM. Now what I'll do, I'll show you all these tools to their basic functionality. I will leave it to you to explore it later on your own, right? But these tools are really fantastic, I tell you. right? These tools are really fantastic in terms of learning capabilities and so on. Even you can generate a flashcard or a quiz. Okay, this is what has happened. This is the mind map which has been generated. Now since this is a one single page file, that's why the responses are like this. Let's say if you upload a research paper comprising of 25 odd pages, it will come up with certain something different. Okay, it all depends upon the type of input you are providing, right? So this is how it works, right? This is how it works. Okay, so you can create a you can say a mind map, as I have told you. Then reports. Even you can generate quizzes. Okay, this is profile flashcards. Okay, okay. What is the full name of the individual? Okay, see the answer. Okay, this is how, this is the flashcard kind of a thing. It is appearing. Okay, 37 flashcard it is created. Okay, and, directorial role, see the answer. Okay, director UGC MMTTC. So what it has done, it has from this file, it has extracted all those flashcard, converted them into questions, and it has prepared answers as well. Okay, now this way there are a lot many things, right? Human resource development and so on. 37 flashcard it has created. Okay, so this is the beauty of this particular tool. Okay, then as I have told you, that is you can create a quiz as well. Okay, that creating a quiz is again possible. Now it is generating the quiz for me. Okay, generating audio is now done. Okay, you may see the response of this audio as so this is what the idea is, not to show me what is my profile is all about. It was the smallest file which I was having. That is why I've kept that particular. So this is the AI leader. Then this is the profile quiz which has come up. Okay, it has prepared a quiz according to the profile. Which of the following is not listed as one of the area of interest, right? So hint, again, it is giving me hint as well. Okay, and so on. So you can click on next to see the next question, which is, so it has created around 10 questions based on that. Okay, so there are very many things which you can do with the help of this small fantastic tool, which is at present available free of cost. Okay, which is available free of cost at this point of time, right? Now if you have any query, you can fire it now. Okay, okay, with regard to a specific tools. Okay, then next is on research front. We'll just try to have a look at various tools. The very first tool is what they call it as, let's say you want to compile the what should I say, analyze certain papers. Okay, you want to analyze certain papers. Okay, and you want to make use of some or the other AI tool. So there is a AI tool. Okay, there is a Gen AI tool for that particular purpose, and that tool is basically the illicit. Have you heard this tool? Whether you are using it? Okay, so Notebook LM I have told you. Okay, second is the illicit, which is coming your way. Right. For using this tool, again, you need not require anything. Beta version is free. Okay, as I have told you, this is my the very first time user. You need to what? You need to register. Okay, or sign up. Okay, wherein you need to provide your name, mobile number, and email ID, and later on you can access it. Okay, you can access it. Right now I'm using the free version of this. That is the beta version of this particular tool. Okay, this tool, as I have told you, that is, this can be used for analysis and synthesis of research paper. Okay, now I am not making any ethical compromises. Okay, you can very well use this tool, okay, without any problem. Okay, let's say you want to analyze maybe around 10 odd papers in a single go. Okay, many times whenever you write the literature review, okay, it is expected that, or whenever you go for a synopsis preparation or SOP preparation or POC preparation, Okay, normally you need to analyze certain papers, existing papers. So for that purpose, you can very well use it. I'll show you that is how to use it. Let's say AI in, you tell me the area wherein you want to me to explore AI in education. Very vague query I am giving Indian context. This is what I am trying to explore. Very broad term. Okay. So which I have given. What it has done, it has come up with certain papers. Okay. All right. It has come up with certain papers. How many papers? Roughly. Yes. As you can see in this panel, around maybe 10 papers it has sorted out. Okay. Now what I can do, by default, it is giving me the title of the paper, as you can see here. Okay. Along with the summary. Okay. That is the only one column which is there. Okay. Now I can add few more columns. Okay. I may add few more columns here. Okay. So you can come up with something like, say, add a new. Okay. As you can see here on this right hand panel, what I am doing, I am adding new column wherein I am interested in finding out the research gaps. Okay. So I have given the title as research gap. Okay. And simply add this column. I know I am going a little fast, but as I have told you, that is later on you can explore. This is not any rocket science is involved in using all these tools. The idea is to simply expose you. That is later on you may explore it on your own. So as you can see here, this new column which has been added, now it is being populated with the respective stuff extracted from those papers. It is taking a little bit more time. Okay, but it will come up. So this is, it is coming up now. Digital structures. Okay, so these are the research gaps. Now it has extracted in a single click. It has extracted all those papers in terms of this particular parameter. So this way you can add up 4 column in a single go, not more than 4. Okay, if you want to go more than 4, you need to upgrade your plan. Okay, but the solution is, let's say you do not want to do so, still you want to use it. What you can do, you can delete certain columns and go on adding new columns. Okay, because the limitation is not more than 4 in a single go, right? So you can experiment this particular tool very easily. Okay, so this is a very fantastic tool. Okay, you can even export. Now there are certain functions which are not available, not supported in the free version. Say upgrade to plus for export. Otherwise, you can directly export this stuff into some PDF, or you may share it, or you may mail it, or you can do lot many things, right? You can do lot many things, right? So by default, the summary is there along with the paper, but you may add up few more columns depending upon your need, and you can analyze or synthesize research paper using this particular tool. Okay, this is again on the back end, it is using the technology, whatever we have seen just now, right? That is the AI or the Gen AI in general, right? So this is the second tool. Okay. Now it's better if, let's say, if you would like to ask any relevant query with regard to a particular tool, you please stop me at that point of time. Okay, we can discuss, because otherwise what will happen, we'll continue this way. And later on, if you ask me, no, we need to toggle, it will require more time. Okay, that is the reason. Okay. So this is Notebook LM. This is the, you can say the illicit.com. And the third tool which is there is what they call it as the Research Rabbit. So this is typically used for identifying the real literature in your domain. Okay, for literature survey, you can use this particular tool, and the URL is app.researchrabbit.ai. Okay. Now what you can do, okay, once you logged in, okay, this is my account, these are my projects. Okay, on the right hand side, there are certain keywords and so on. Okay, so here you can specify. Okay, these are the papers, okay, which I have searched, say for example. Okay, and these are some of the filters which are coming up. So it will show you how many similar papers are there, how many references are there, Okay, it is cited by how many people. Okay, and not only that, it will give you a very fantastic diagram in terms of how one researcher is associated with the next one. Okay, so this is how it is. That is, let's say you want to explore it. So this you can use for finding out the real stuff in your domain, right? Real stuff in your domain. Now these are various parameters you can set. Okay, again the beta version is free, but you need to upgrade it. Okay, so some keywords you can specify here. Even you can specify the period. Let's say if you want to search for last 5 years, those who are from computer science, normally we do not go more than 5 years. Okay, but you can specify that filter again. You may set it same from 1950 to 2007 or whatever you feel like, right? So say 1980 or something like that. So you can specify the period you are looking for, what kind of journals you are looking for, whether SJR quartile, Q1 journal, Q2, Q3, and Q4, wherein definitely Q1 is the highest rated. Okay, then journal H index again you may set. So all these filters you can set, whether you want to go for a open access only or so on, right? So this is again a very fantastic tool, Research Rabbit. Okay, then we do have on the similar line what they call it as the connected papers. Okay, connected papers. I know I'm going little fast, right? So connectedpapers.com, right? So you may come up with some query here. This is my account. This is again the beta version is free and the pro version is a paid version. So AI in education and research. Right. This is a rough terminology I have given. So what it has done, it has identified certain papers, and it is showing me that is how these papers are connected with each other. Okay, with in terms of this diagram as well. Okay, so there is no problem as such. Again, the filters are there. Okay, you can go through the prior works. Okay, you can see the derivative works. Okay, if you are interested in. So this will help you a lot in identifying the real stuff in your domain. Okay, say ethical artificial intelligence and so on, right? So then you may apply certain filters. Okay, you can see the various views are again there. Okay, so graph preferences again you may see. Okay, and so on, right? So this is and you may share it with your research community as well. So it has got lot many things. Connected papers, right? Connectedpapers.com. Again, first time user, being a user, you need to sign it up. Okay, and you get in the free version you get only 5 graphs per month. Okay, so say for example right now I have used 1/5. Okay, not more than 5 I can go, right, in a single month. Okay, you may even download certain papers, okay, some which are there in the open access form and so on. So you may ask, sir, what is wrong in searching with Google? Google's approach is altogether different, right? Google uses the page ranking algorithm. Now they are embedding, they are working on the similar line, which is, if I'm not sure whether you are aware or not, Google AI Studio is there, okay, wherein you may use it in the similar lines. But if you use conventional Google search, okay, it uses page ranking algorithm. Okay, so that is altogether different, wherein no AI modality is being deployed. All right. So this is the another tool. Okay, this is the another tool. All right. Then you may use, let's say, uh, open router. Any idea about how many models are there as on date of this Chat GPT or any LLM? Are you with me? First of all, hello. Let's say you want to see how many models are there as on date. Okay, so there is here is the solution for that. So there is a tool called as open router. Okay, so in open router, okay, again you need to sign it up. Okay, you need to sign it up. Okay. Let me. So you have, I think I have created some account. Okay. One. router. All right. So this is my open router account. Okay. So any idea about how many how many models are there? And let's say you want to see how many models, how do they work, and you want to compare. Rather, you want to give your prompt to more than one model at the same time, and you want to take a final call which particular model is most appropriate for you. Here is the platform for you. That is the openrouter.ai. Okay, it gives you everything about that model. Okay, initially, definitely, again, the beta version is free. Okay, but you need to buy certain credits. Okay, and once you add that credits, again, it will not cost you more than 500,000 bucks. Okay, and you can experiment with this. Okay, so let's say you want to check how many models are there. So at present, it is 561. Let's say if you log in after 10 to 15 minutes, it may go 571 or 581, right? But at present, these many AI models are there. Okay, and these models are basically categorized into various, depending upon their functionality, they are categorized into various things. Okay, say for example, as you can see on the left hand side, text, then image, then file, then audio. These are the input modalities. Okay, let's say you want to give input as text and output as text, you may select appropriately. Okay, then output modalities, again, text, image, embedding. Okay, these things we have used. Then context length. Okay, just try to recall. Okay, okay, just try to recall what we have seen. Okay, then uh, prompt pricing, again. Okay, free or $0.5 or $1 or $10. Okay, and then you have the providers or the series. Okay, like say GPT, Claude, Gemini, and more. Right. Now, who are the provider? Okay, then categories, maybe programming, role play, marketing, and more. Okay, supported parameters like say this is what I was talking about, the temperature. Okay, top P and more. Okay, then min P, top A, frequency penalty, presence penalty. Okay, repetition penalty, max token. Okay, and there are more, right? We have seen only the seed, and again we have seen only top log props, okay, structure output, stop, and so on. All right. Then who are the providers? Providers are nothing but the companies, right? Say Alibaba is there, Alibaba Cloud, okay, A21, and so on, right? So these are the providers, right? AI21, AI and lab, and so on. Okay. Now you may even look at their ranking. Okay, you may look at their ranking because again, as I said, this list is ever growing. Okay, 561 models. Okay, now which model is best for you? Okay, here is the answer for that, right? So go to this ranking. Okay, under ranking, it will show you the leaderboard. It will show you exactly which particular model is suited for which particular kind of application. Say, for example, look at this. Okay, this is Grok Code Fast 1. Okay, 1.45 tokens. Okay, trillion, T for trillion token. Okay, and this is best suited for what? Right. Then Cloud Sonnet, Gemini 2.5, Flash, okay, Minimax, and so on. So which particular model is best suited for you, again, you can look at. Now you can chat with all these models. Now this is free. Huh? This is free. This is completely free. Okay, so you may go ahead with this chat wherein you can type your prompt. Okay, let's say define AI. All right, now define AI. What I have done, I'm asking the definition of AI, and these are the responses of two different models. What are those models? Those models are GPT, okay, and then the another one is something else. Okay, these are the models. Say GPT OS Safeguard 20, this is Nimroton Nano, and this is Minimax M2 free. Okay, these three models, I am getting the responses. Okay, in the one direct chat I am writing, I am getting the responses from three of them simultaneously. Now, what I can do, I can compare them, okay, and I can take a final call, which is best suited for me. Okay, So this is how you can use this open router, which is a very fantastic facility for you to explore, right? So open router is there at your disposal for using, you can say, various models under one umbrella. Okay. On the similar line, you have one more thing, what they call it as, okay. So this is Notion. Okay. So Notion, you may use it for taking down the notes. Say right now, say for example, I am delivering this session. Okay. You want to join this session, along with you want to have your own assistant who will take down the notes. Okay. So this Notion.so will help you in that regard. It will take your notes. Okay. The only thing is that you need to specify the meeting along with the schedule and everything. Right. So this is there. That is notes. Now these notes later on it can be circulated. Okay. On the similar line, you have another application. What they call it as the let me show you, is the granola. Okay. So this granola will again take your notes while you are delivering the session, right? The only thing is that you need to schedule your meeting and post that in this particular thing, right? So it will take you, it will take notes and so on, right? So this granola is another app, okay, which will take the notes. All right. So having said this, this is open router. Okay, open router. Then Granola I have told you. Then the Notion I have told you. Now there are some commercial softwares as well. Say for example, uh, if you want to, let's say, deal with images, and let's say you want to create a video of any public figure, maybe Shah Rukh Khan or maybe anybody from the political world. Okay, is it possible to create it with this chat GPT? Have you ever tried to create a video or a photograph or a picture and tried certain? Vijit Moge sir has said that 4 models, I guess. Okay, sir, I have shown you as many as 561 models, right? All right. So what do you feel? Have you ever tried creating any photo of a public personality using ChatGPT? Whether ChatGPT allows you to create any play with anybody's photo, or what is it? Have you ever tried? The answer is a big no. ChatGPT will not allow you to play with any public figure. But there are tools. There are tools available, but those tools are, as a matter of fact, they are all paid tools. Okay. Say, for example, you can generate images of public figure using what they call it as the Grok. Have you heard this tool, Grok? Okay. Any idea about Grok? Okay. Then GR, okay, Grok, right? So this Grok can do anything for you, but this is not at all free. Okay, you need to pay for it. Okay, this is typically used by the professionals. Okay, there is some subscription fee, probably 30,000 per year. Okay, comes out to be around 2,500 per month. Okay, so this is there. Okay, this Grok, you may use it, but you may use it initially some free version as well. Okay, wherein you need to simply sign up. So this tool is there, Grok, at your disposal. Then you have another tool, what they call it as the Happen instance. Any idea about that? Happen instance will do, that is what I was referring to. Okay, let's say you want to automate, you want to create agents, okay, who will take care of replying to your mails, or the YouTube or the LinkedIn post, or let's say the Facebook post and so on. Okay, here is the solution for you. Again, this is not at all free, right? You need to pay for it, but you can culminate very many platforms under one umbrella. And once you program it, okay, it will learn that is how you used to respond to various posts, and accordingly it will, once it is trained, it will go on responding to your emails, and you can say the maybe some social media stuff as well. Okay, LinkedIn post and so on. Okay, then there is a specific uh, platform which is once again paid. Okay, is the Super Grow. Okay, Super Grow. This is typically for your LinkedIn inbound and outbound things, right? So wherein you can come up with say 10x to your LinkedIn inbound. Again, this is not at all free. Okay, you for 1 month or so, maybe a limited period, you will get it free of cost. But you may try some hands-on on this. Okay, it will do a lot of things for you. Okay, it will not only write the post. Okay, it will not write the responses, but it will make your presence on the you can say the social media platform as an active person. Okay, so happens tons. Okay, that is what I have told you. Then the Super Grow. Okay, then Grok, I think we have talked about. But almost all these tools, whatever I have referred to, they are all online. They are all online tools. Okay, they are all online tools. Let's say, what is the problem with these online tools? Any idea about that? What is the problem with these online tools? The biggest problem is whatever you are doing, it is there on the cloud. Let's say you want to set a question paper for the forthcoming examination. Your institute is an autonomous institute. Okay, and you are using some or the other Gen AI tool for generating the questions. So whether you are safe, if you are working on cloud, the answer is a big no. Right? One should not use it for that purpose. Okay. But let's say you want to do the same activity without making any compromises on privacy and secrecy front. Is there any solution? Say yes or no. Is there any solution wherein you can work on your local machine without making any compromises on the secrecy or the privacy front? Any solution which is known to you? Yes, there is a solution. There is a solution. And the solution is, yes, and the solution is what I thought that somebody is writing in the chat box. I don't know what's the problem with switching on your microphone and posing the questions. Anyway, well, what we will do, I'll show you the framework which you can use, you can download free of cost, and later on you can populate it with various models. Okay, definitely the free models. Okay, not the paid model, but again, those free models are again good enough to carry out your routine task. Okay, so the very first uh, framework is the yes, LM Studio. Now you can easily download, but there are some problems in terms of the you can say the type of machine needed for using this particular tool. So this tool is basically a resource hungry tool. That is, for downloading this tool, you need to have minimum i7 processor, okay, with a good amount of primary memory and sufficient hard disk space. Okay. Now you can simply Google it. Okay, download LM Studio free. Okay, it will take you to some link. Download it. One executable file will be downloaded. Okay, in your download folder, double click it and install it on your machine. Once you have installed, you can populate this framework with various tools. Say, for example, right now, I have downloaded that particular, I am not showing you exactly how to download, but there is no rocket science involved. You can do it on your own. Okay. Once you have downloaded, you can populate it with various models. Say, for example, right now, I have downloaded this, and these are the two models which I have populated, right? The very first one is the Llama 3.2 and Gamma 2. Okay. These are the memory requirement. That is 1.23 GB and 1.59 GB and so on. This is the size and so on, right? So now I can invoke any one of them by simply clicking on it. Okay. And whatever chat I will write, now this is completely offline. Okay. I'm not doing it on any of these tools cloud basically. Whatever I am doing, it will be stored on my local machine only. So this LM Studio, you may use it for using all these AI tools, okay, without making compromises on privacy or secrecy front, right? So this LM Studio, it is a framework, okay, it is a framework which can be definitely, you can say, populated with various tools, okay, with various tools, okay. So this LM Studio, you can try, you can give some hands-on, right? No, if you have any specific query, it's better that. Otherwise, what will happen? This way I'll go on continuing with various tools. Okay, and later on, if you feel like asking with regard to a particular tool, okay, we need to again toggle back and forth. Okay, so which will definitely consume certain amount of time. So if you have anything, you can fire it now. Okay, there itself. Okay, so that we can resolve. Okay, this is the chat area. Okay, wherein you can type the chat and it will give you the responses. Now, whatever the responses, it will be stored in my local machine. Okay. Now it is showing these tokens. Say, for example, whatever chats I have carried out, it has used 4K tokens. Okay, and this is untitled, and you may give it some name and you may save it. Okay, it will be on your local machine. Okay, it will be on your local machine. So that is LM Studio, right? LM Studio, right? So LM Studio, free download. Okay, that is what you need to Google. It will take you to some link. Okay, and you may download it later on. All right. So this is, but the problem is it is resource hungry. It requires good machine. Okay, it requires good machine. Right. Now, what next is there? Now let's move ahead with certain tools. Let's say you don't know a single line of code. You don't know how to write a single line of code, and you want to execute some projects, and you are very clear about those projects. That is the sequence of operation. Okay, the model you have created in your mind. Okay, you are very much clear about all those aspects, and you want to generate automation, right? What they call it as the robotic process automation or RPA tool. So we have one complete category of tool under this category. Okay, that is the RPA tool. We have got a complete category in a sense. That is this RPA stands for basically the robotic, P for process, and A for automation. So what does this robotic mean? Basically, it is an entity which has the capability to mimic human behavior. That is what we used to call it as. Okay, this is probably the last but one tool. Okay, and then definitely I will take up some questions. So under this RPA tool, as a matter of fact, this RPA is commercially available. Okay, it is commercially available. It is not freely available. The problem is, has happened. Yes. The problem with this tool is they are very high-end commercial products. Okay. Under this category, you have got around 5 options. Okay. The very first option is what they call it as the Blue Prism, then Work Fusion. Third one is the UI path. Fourth one is the Automation Anywhere. And the fifth one is the PEGA. PEGA, PEGA. All right. Out of these 5, the only one tool which is freely available for the experimentation purpose is the UI path community edition. Okay. So you can Google it in your uh, browser and simply try to download this UiPath Community Edition. Okay. Again, in terms of resources, it is very resource hungry. Okay, you require a lot of hard disk space and primary memory, and you can say the computing resources and whatnot, right? But once you download it, okay, you can develop any automation, okay, by simply dragging and dropping various things, okay, into the panel. Okay, you need not have to write a single line of code. You can do it automatically. Okay, even you can create some real-time projects, right? Say, for example, I want to extract the data from the stock exchange in a live mode. Okay, so we can extract. Okay, definitely there are certain regulation. Okay, let's say if you are not violating any regulation, okay, within that limit you are working, okay, you get it, but not exactly in a real time mode. But this is just for the sake of example. Okay, real share market data is actually sensitive data, but maybe some other data which is available on some website. Okay, you can write a complete project. Okay, without writing a single line of a code. Okay, this is again, I have installed on my machine. Okay, let me show you the demonstration. Okay, this is UiPath Studio. So you can build complete projects, okay, from scratch. You can even test it, okay, in the framework itself. Okay, you need not have to do. And again, I'm telling you that this is the only application which gives you free of cost. Okay, that is UiPath Community Edition. Again, Community Edition is available free of cost. Now, as you can see here, okay, you can build. Okay, you have got various tools, templates. Okay, teams. Again, you can work in collaboration. Okay, then you may simply pick up any process. You know the philosophy of that process or the logical step you need to know. You can create certain processes which are there in the library itself. You can test the automation as I was referring to. There are various built-in template available. Okay, you may use it. Let's say if it fits to your requirement, you may use it directly. All right. So I'll not be, because this will require one complete session to explain all these things, right? Then background process, okay, front end, back end, mobile testing, robotic enterprise framework, SAP testing project, and whatnot, right? So test automation framework and so on. So you can do lot many things without writing a single line of a code, okay, using this particular tool, that is the UiPath. Okay, UiPath Studio Community Edition, as I was referring to, because its commercial version is not freely available. It is very costly affair. Okay, because it is being used by the industry. Okay, so these are all whatever 5 tools I have talked about. That is the Blue Prism, Work Fusion, okay, Automation Anywhere, Pega, and the UiPath. So out of these 5, only UiPath is freely available. Okay, rest all are paid. There is no community edition available. The only exception is UiPath Community Edition, right? So you can do lot many things. This is what the small project which I have created. Okay, but this is how it looks like. Okay, so you may run it. Okay, you may export it. You can test it. Okay, and so on. Okay, I'll not be able to demonstrate you at this point of time, but this is my account and so on. Right. So this is certain tools on the you can say the uh, automation front. Okay. So apart from this, there are few tools for what they call it as for teaching learning purposes. Like say, let me close this because this will consume a lot of resources. This is how now it has come up. Okay, this is what. Okay, so you may run it as I was referring to. Okay. You can debug it and run it. Okay, now it is compiling. So what I did basically, I've created one small, two, three small processes wherein a welcome message, something like that is there. Okay, so it will ask me, okay, input dialog, and it will ask me to give welcome to the session, something like that. It's very small thing. I'll type my name over here. Many times it takes a lot of time to compile it. Okay, now it is saying welcome to the session, something. Right? Very small project, right? Just for the demonstration purpose. So as you can see here, this is a sequence which I have defined. Then there is a dialog. So what I'm doing, I'm picking up and simply placing it, drag and drop, not a single line of a code. Okay, as I said, then I can publish it directly. Okay, publish it, I can test it, copy and paste it, and do any damn thing with regard to that project. Right. So this is a very fantastic tool. I personally feel that you must explore it. Right? Very fantastic tool for the automation, that is the robotic process automation. Right. Now, having said this, let me go ahead with some other tools, like say certain things which you would love to. Any idea about this net logo? Net logo is basically an open source tool wherein you have got thousands of models ideally. Okay, and let's say uh, there are certain things which you find it difficult to explain with the help of a chalk and a board. Okay, so in that case, definitely you can make use of this particular tool. Okay, dining philosophers problem. Say, for example, those who are from computer science, they very well know that how complex this problem is. Okay, while explaining in the classroom kind of an environment. Okay, so this is the URL you need to know. That is the ccl.northeastern.edu. This is, as a matter of fact, this is an academic project, and this has been built on a free and open source philosophy. What they call it as the FOSS philosophy, wherein nobody is the owner. Okay, so there are thousands of models. Now there are models for art, biology, chemistry, physics, earth sciences, computer science is again there, and so on. Right. So you may run it, okay, say for example, and so on. Okay. So you can run it, you can download the code as well. The code is again available. Okay, you may download it on your local machine, and you may ask your student to modify that code. Again, that is possible, or you can simply run it in a browser, and you can demonstrate it to the your student well, how these things basically work. So this is a simulated environment which can be used for explaining complex problem, okay, with the help of you can say this free and open source tool, right? With the help of this free and open source tools, right? So this is the URL. You can note it down, okay, if you feel like. Or I'm giving in the chat box as well. So well, this is all from my end. I know I have extended a little bit, right? Actually, there was a request from your coordinator that, sir, we need to finish it up maybe in 2 hours or so. But the session has extended. But again, we have not crossed our limit. Actually, our official time is up to 5 o'clock. Okay, so I have intentionally kept 5 to 10 minutes for discussion. Now, if you have any query, you can fire. There are again a lot of tools like, yes. Somebody wish to ask something? There are many tools this way, but since we are running short of time, then explain paper you may try, or you may try size space, okay, or I don't know, consensus again, I forgot to show you. Okay, consensus is again a very fantastic platform. You may give some hands-on on this consensus as well. Okay. Right. So this is again there. Okay, this is the consensus.app. Again, the beta version is free, but the pro version is paid, right? So this is the URL. Okay, first time user, you need to sign it. So it's all from my end, right? Now it is open for discussion. Session is open for discussion. If you have any query, you can fire. First of all, let me thank all of you for sparing your valuable time that too on Sunday. Okay. Yes. Let me check how many. Yeah, 50 is a good number. And I think this number is there from the beginning itself. All right. So thank you very much for a patience hearing. And if you have any query, once again, I'm repeatedly telling you, can you suggest tool for embedded system practical? Madam, I'm sorry, I'm not aware about embedded system. What are the tools? Okay. Okay. Really sorry for that.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
Sir, you have explained all the AI tools very nicely and effectively. Till now, I am familiar with only 4 to 5 tools, and today you have explained many tools that are very useful for us. Sir, my question is that among these tools, which tool is very effective to create the interactive PowerPoint presentations?
Oh, PowerPoint presentation. Actually, I have forgot. Actually, there are tools like say Gamma. Have you heard Gamma?
Yeah, sir.
Gamma is there, which is a very fantastic tool for PowerPoint presentation. Then Pop AI is there. Okay, POP AI, Pop AI. Okay,
Pop AI. Okay.
Pop AI. You can give hands-on to these tools. Let me check whether it works here or not. Because they have created some logins are there because that will save our time. That is the only reason. But you can give hands-on to these tools, madam. Gamma is again there. Okay, it's not Open AI, it is Pop AI. Okay, yeah, there we are. Okay, but again, limited functionality, that is up to 20 slides. You can prepare free of cost. But more than that, this is AI presentation, right? So you can create fantastic presentation. Okay, wherein you can narrate everything, whether it is with regard to, again, it has got fantastic built-in template. Okay, and then you can specify certain things. It will create fantastic presentation for you. And there is no problem ethically, once again, if you are making use of, or what you can do, you can upload your PDF. Okay, or let's say if you have some stuff in your doc file, you can upload it and ask it to create a PowerPoint presentation for you. Okay. Now it will ask you what is the purpose, whether you are using it for the education, whether you are using it for business or finance, marketing. So you need to select the appropriate settings and accordingly ask it to generate. Okay, it will generate. Okay. So there are thousands of templates. Okay, thousands of templates. So for all these purposes, as a matter of fact, let's say if you have got something in the Word document or PDF format, you may upload it and ask it to generate a PowerPoint presentation. Fantastic presentation. Okay. So Pop AI is there, right?
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
And Gamma, you can give hands-on, man. If I'm not wrong, Gamma.app. GAMMA, Gamma.app.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for this information.
Thank you. Anything else? I know I have exposed you to very many things in a single go, but the problem is later on you can experiment. Okay, and you may get in touch with me if you face any problem. There is no problem. I am available. Right. So with this note, okay, we'll stop here. If there are no more queries, okay, we will stop here. Let me check Naina Pawar sir according to. So in the chat box, once again, there are no more questions, right? Thank you, sir, is coming up, meaning thereby I need to stop here, right? So
Thank you, Atik sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful session, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll stop here, okay? And tomorrow probably is the last day, and if you have not attempted the quiz, okay, it's my humble request because quiz is mandatory. Apart from quiz, your feedback is again mandatory. So by tomorrow, you need to finish it up, all these things, and you will be given your certificates, okay, in e-form on your WhatsApp group only, okay, after 2-3 days. So I hope all of you are enjoying this, all these sessions, okay. And once again, I thank you all for a patience hearing, okay. And sorry for uh, exploiting your Sunday, okay. Chali. Thank you. So we'll stop here, sir.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.